Boom, welcome back to the Sebs Show, everybody. It's your boy Sebs here today with my boy Gib to break down UFC Glendale. But before, this is a new thing that we're going to do before each breakdown, ceremonial bong hits.
Got the big bong hit down.
So I want everyone, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds, pack your bong, pause the video. If you need to pause it, good, you're good and packed. Everybody to a great breakdown.
Cheers.
Wow, that was nice, Gib. And we're off. Boom, eyes instantly chinky. And that's how we rock and roll on the fucking Seb Show. We don't listen to rules. Fuck rules.
Make our own.
Breaking down UFC Glendale, as I said, and Poirier versus Gaethje. This is actually an interesting card. 14 fights on this card.
Big
Yeah, some great fights too. There's about 6 fight pass prelims, which is good. A good early card starts at 3:30 Eastern. I love it. I like when I get midday, afternoonish MMA. But yeah, this is gonna be a good card, man. From top to bottom, it's pretty bomb. I like it.
A lot of vets involved in this one.
Yeah, and a couple of guys are trying to showcase, I believe. Yeah. Let's get started with Coolhand Luke Sanders versus Patrick Williams. Interesting fight. If you saw last time Patrick Williams was in the octagon, he we just got confirmation. Sorry guys, we just got confirmation for something. Got confirmation for a Jared Brooks interview coming this week. Everybody,
Stay tuned for that.
Tuned for that. But yeah, we got Coolhand Luke Sanders. John Patrick Williams. Last time we saw Patrick Williams, he was hold up.
Fighting Dukenwa, no?
Yeah, he was fighting Dukenwa. Tom Fire Kid Dukenwa. But even beforehand, he's always had power hand. If you see, he got, I think, what's that fucking machine called that they have at the UFC PI? It's like, it tests like your
the PSI, reader on the
yeah. He had one of the highest scores on there.
Really?
Yeah. He had a really high score on there. For like the hardest punch or whatever.
Yeah.
And like fucking, I always took that into account. Like this guy's has a power hand.
For sure.
He hurt Dukenwa in that fight too. If you go back and watch it, Dukenwa got stumbled in that fight, but it was just clear Patrick Williams just is out of shape, man. He's got about 2 minutes of cardio in him. After that, he's gone. He's not very, and once he's gone, he's gone. Like he can't. He's trying to stay planted on his feet. He can barely walk. He's trying to throw bombs. They're not powerful at all. He's wrecked, and it's just a matter of time till he finishes when he's that tired. On the other hand, you got Coolhand Luke Sanders, who's better than Patrick Williams everywhere. I think he's a great grappler, a very good wrestler, a very good scrambler. He's got quick hands inside the pocket. He gets a little reckless inside the pocket, though. Like if you saw the Andre Sukumtov fight, he got knocked out in that fight. But he does know what to do. Like otherwise, like other than trading in the pocket, he knows how to handle himself. He's a little pitbull too, man. He's a monster. Great takedowns, and he slides from striking to like takedowns very easily. Um, I like the pressure he puts on you. He's always pressuring, especially with on the ground. He's always moving, giving you like no space to really do anything. I don't know, man. I really like Luke Sanders in this spot, so I got 5 units on Luke. At minus, I believe 277. Let me check right now. Minus, yeah, 277 to win 1.8 units. So looking forward to that. How about you, Gib?
I agree with you. I think Patrick Williams is still a very strong opponent for Luke Sanders, especially seeing Luke Sanders' last few matches not exactly going his way. But Patrick Williams, his abrupt stopping power comes at a bit of a price. It obviously takes a lot of energy out of him. And, cracking Dukenwall that one time, I thought was a big bomb. And it made Dukenwall turn up the faucets on the energy. And he ended up blowing Patrick Williams out of the water just because of the stamina. It was very, very it was a bit of a bad fight because Patrick Williams showed a lot of bad body language. He looked very defeated, kind of very very energy drained, kind of dragging himself around the ring. Pat Williams gets a little trigger happy, but this also actually gets him a lot of good strikes in the early rounds. He again shows a lot of power. He's good at wrestling, but Luke Sanders is just as good at wrestling as him. On the other hand, he has way more confidence in his stamina, and it shows. He's obviously gotten hit before, and he's gotten hit by some big bombs. So I think that's why Patrick does have a bit of a nice entrance into this fight, because he has something that he can leave with. And hey, he can get a walk off if he wants to, but so can Luke. And Luke is really good with his chokes. He sets up good Darce chokes, delivering knees a lot. He hits hard. Once he gets those hands around the neck, he snaps you down, and it could be anything from there. He's really big on the ground and pound, and his stand-up is pretty good too. My only concern is if he gives Patrick Williams too much space and Patrick Williams kind of berserks forward. Luke can get caught, and we've seen him get caught as of late, and that might not be good. So I think it's gonna be a close one. I'm still going with Luke Sanders on this because I think I agree with you in the sense that he has a wider range of skills, but Pat Williams actually has a pretty good setup here if he wants to remain in the UFC as well as in the division.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you 100%. Yeah, to me, this fight isn't close on paper or anything. He's a minus 400 right now as we speak, and like rightfully so. That's where you should have opened that as minus 400. Patrick Williams is not like when you have nothing in your gas tank.
Not the best poker face.
It's and you're putting your hands on your knees during the fight, and you're just a front runner. You're a quitter. Like you're gonna get it, man, and can't quit around Luke Sanders, man. This kid will make you pay. He the Maxwell Blanco just the IQ in that fight to knock him out or to lay him out and then choke him out right away. It's just I love guys who do that shit. That shit's brilliant. So props to him for that. And then he got caught in the Andre Supentoth fight, man. Other than that, the kid's on he'd be undefeated if he got caught in the Supentoth fight and he was destroying Yuri Alcantara, and then he got caught in a rolling knee bar. Fucking ridiculous, poor guy, man. Oh. But I got Luke Sanders all day here. Next up, we got Matthew Lopez taking on Alejandro Perez, and Perez is like that Mexican monster. Like I swear his name was Diablo before he changed it to Turbo or some shit now.
Yeah.
But like he's coming off that fight with Yuri Alcantara. Was it a split decision? Or was it?
Uh,
Now I have to go check. Sorry, guys. No, no, it wasn't. Okay.
it was a unanimous.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
unanimous. He like I like where the kid like he's just like that Mexican weasel, man. He knows how to win fights. He just does.
Yes.
He got that split decision win against Andre Sukentoth, where I don't believe he should have won. He got a draw against Albert Morales. Um, beat the fuck out of Ian Entwistle. Uh, Scott Jorgensen, and then the guy we were just talking about, Patrick Williams, is his only loss in the UFC. Yeah, and a 23-second choke where he got knocked and just choked out real quick. Where with the guillotine he went to sleep. Um, Other than that, I think it's a bad matchup for him against Matthew Lopez. Man, Matthew Lopez is a great grappler. Suspect chin, but great grappler in the sense of this kid. Like, I think I know he trained with Justin Gaethje, but like, he was like a wrestling coach at Rain or something. I'm pretty sure back in the day, with Mark Munoz and those guys. So like, fucking, this guy's a top quality wrestler. I know that. I know coming in here, he's a top quality wrestler, and his striking starting to come together too. He's not fighting a Rafael Assunção, so he doesn't have too much to be worried about here. Alejandro Perez is no Rafael Assunção. Um, it's hard to say where this one's going because Perez has great stand up too. Not great stand up, but pretty good stand up. And but I think Lopez edges him out in the grappling department rather well. And I think Lopez takes him down here at will and gets a W. How about you, Gib?
Well, I think Lopez is a bit of a double-edged sword. He goes up right close and personal from round one, plots forward. He's very calm at times. Great doubles. I always like to see the ability to handle submissions against Johnny Eduardo. I think he was in a leg. He got caught in a leg lock setup, and he immediately started raining down some nice punches and got out of that situation. I got to give props to anybody who can, get out of any sort of crazy submission like that. I mean, the position was a little shoddy, but I mean, it's still in danger. He's good at wrestling, and he can be a handful when he goes for passes. A lot of people have trouble, preventing him from getting that pass. His snap takedowns are good. Good takedown defense, obviously. A Sun Sao was a big fight, and leg kicks played a huge part. But he showed a lot of toughness in that fight, I found. Alejandro Perez, obviously, like you said, hasn't lost a fight since Patrick Williams. He's been undefeated since then. Obviously, the draw, a rough fight, but I mean, those are going to happen. He's got a good jab, very dependable, very fast, and he's good at changing the course of some of his punches. I always like to see that. He has a big counter right hand, likes to slip and make you pay for any sort of missed jab or straight strike. Very good and composed when the chips are down, handles wild moves pretty well. And he even swings his right kick well, catching Alcantara's kicks during that fight, which I thought got him the unanimous. I feel like whenever you can catch someone's kick, you feel a lot more superior, and it shows in the judging. He's got a pretty good pace, but the Alcantara fight showed a lot because he really did. He was running out of stamina near the end, and it was kind of funny hearing the announcers say, "I better not see any sad faces when someone's hand gets raised, because like you guys aren't putting it on the line. They had a bit of a stare down. They kind of slowed the pace down. They got a lot of boos. It was 1-1 in the fight, but I mean, with the turbo name, you kind of expect a bit of speed to Perez, but he can slow the fight down if it's not going his way, which is why I think he's a very dangerous fighter. Again, Alejandro Perez, great wrestling, and I like wrestling a lot. So, Lopez, actually Matthew Lopez, great wrestling. I like it a lot. But I think Alejandro might be able to change strategies if things are going good for him. So I'm taking Oh man, it's close. I thought I'd have this figured out by the time I came to this
It
point.
is. It's a close matchup.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna take Perez. I really like that fight. So.
I lean Matthew Lopez, but not enough to bet him. He was at a good price too earlier in the week. But yeah. Moving on, man. We got the return. I always like when this guy fights, man. Oh, sorry, it's not even him yet. But this fight's even bigger to me because I like when this guy fights because he's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC because he's Canadian and he reminds me a lot of Daniel Cormier, and I love DC. Arjun Singh Buller taking on Adam. I can never say his name. Weir Zorek or whatever his name is. I messed it up terribly last time when he fought Anthony Hamilton.
Oh,
Wiczorek. It's like Wiczorek or I don't know. It's some. He has like a weird name.
Yeah, you need an accent to pull it off.
He's Polish. He's Polish. Good luck saying his name. And Arjun Singh Buller, like I said, man. Let me just give you a little background on this guy. This guy is gold medalist at the 2010, I believe, Commonwealth Games. Also medaled in the Pan Am Games, bronze medalist there. He was an Olympic wrestler for Vancouver in 2012, I believe. I think 2012 for Canada. Very, very, very good freestyle wrestler. But he didn't show it so much in his last fight against Luis Enrique. He used more of his boxing. And when I say he reminds me of Daniel Cormier, it's like the way he talks, the way his personality is, but it's also the way he's not afraid to stand up with these guys. He's got a great chin from what I've seen already. And he's taken a couple shots by Luis Enrique, but was able to just like beat him down over the course of 3 rounds. This guy's got great takedowns, as you can tell from the wrestling background, but like he's got a beautiful double leg, especially a blast double. He hits very well, and he can pick you up and just hit you with a slam, like he did against Luis Enrique. This guy also he comes in with sharp boxing, and he's gonna constantly pop his jab in your face. You're gonna have problems a lot with just his jab. I think Arjun Bull is gonna give a lot of problems with jab, but like the UFC is pushing this guy, I think, because they want that Indian market.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big market for them, and I think this guy can be a future fucking star.
For sure,
especially internationally. He's one of my favorite fighters, man. With just like one UFC fight, when I heard about him, I kept my eye on him for a while, and was really really hyped for his debut, and super hyped for him now to take on Adam Wurchek, who took on Bumbleton, and I took Adam last time he fought him, and Anthony Hamilton gave me a fucking scare with the bet and everything, bro. Anthony Hamilton should not be almost winning fights still. He should be done in the UFC. There's no way. He retired and came back for that fight, and he almost won. against this guy. He almost beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he almost beat
Oh,
him.
completely.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy's got a good jiu-jitsu game, but I think that's not going to play a part in, like, Arjun just has to watch out for not getting strangled or like anything like that, not getting submitted. Other than that, I think he's got the stand-up advantage for sure. This guy's not a great stand-up. Bumbleton was outstriking him at points, and I shouldn't call him Bumbleton. Poor guy, Anthony Hamilton. I'll give him the proper respect he deserves. It's like, yeah, fuck yeah.
You got to, man. You got to. I mean, I had to do it for our last game, so.
And yeah, man, I fucking so I got whatever I got. My boy Arjun Bowler dominating this fight from start to finish easily. I think he comes over this fight rather easily. I think this is one of the home runs of the card. So I got 5 units in Bowler minus 265 to win 1.88 units. And shout out to my boy MMA Kelton. He hit the minus 150 opener. That shit's fucking ridiculous. He had a minus 150 opener. Yeah.
Sniper.
Yeah. Sniper. Exactly.
I completely agree with you. I like Arjun Singh, super strong wrestler, won world championships, awesome right hand against Louis Henry. Really put someone like that through the ringer. I think that's those are big brownie points, especially for a debut. Great defense. Reminds me of a great takedown defense, obviously from his wrestling. He reminds me of a similar Big Country Nelson, but maybe even a little more mobile and a bit different. Picks different strikes, so he's got his own thing going. People have problems fighting this guy, and there's clear reasons. He's right up in your face. He's flat-footed. He's very balanced for someone who's pretty big. He's not clumsy big. He's got a good understanding of the MMA game as well. He's good at putting people on the fence. Good at keeping his base wide as well. Keeping himself from being taken down. He's all over the place, and he can be a lot for somebody in the early rounds and throughout the fight. He's got a great pace that he works at, and he knows his strengths and weaknesses. So you can tell he strays away from a lot of bad decision making that I think a lot of people come into the UFC with. Like, a lot of people want to close the show and go out and rampage, but he's a lot more calm, cool, and collected. Adam obviously fought a very tough Anthony Hamilton, who did not want to lose his comeback, but cracking him early with a deadly opening kick, I thought was pretty good. A lot of his youth helped him in that fight. Just his ability to get attacked and then throw right back. Again, Anthony Hamilton is somebody who's kind of been through it all, so he's going to stand there and wait for you a little bit. He did a lot of waiting, but so did Adam. He did a lot of waiting too. And, we didn't really get to see a really crazy display or, any sort of super dominance, but maybe Adam's just kind of playing around with it. It was a bit of a rough fight for him, but maybe Arjun could be different. Obviously, these two want to stay in the UFC, what they're doing. I think Adam has a good reach. I think he throws good combinations on the inside when he does have fighters who are smaller. He's good at making his punches compact and kind of work, but he's got a very, very big frame, and people who are 6'5" have to worry about getting shot in for double legs and being taken down. If his submission is good enough that maybe he can work off his back, hey, all the luck to you. But I think Arjun's going to be really working to pass that, and it's not going to be much of a problem with his weight as well that he uses very effectively. So I think Arjun's taking this one completely. I say he out wrestles him. It might go to decision, but I think there's going to be lots of slams, and it's going to be probably unanimous.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think we're looking at a 30-27
Yes.
here.
Yeah, you're gonna see a wrestling match.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, a one-sided wrestling match.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we got a guy. I always like to watch. Man, I like watching Diego Lima because he gets knocked out.
I don't
Puts on
know.
he puts on a show, man. He puts on a
He
show. Whether
does.
win or lose, he puts on a show. Against Yushin Okami, who just took on Ovin St. Preux actually at light heavyweight, and this fight's at 170. Kid,
He doesn't care who he fights.
he doesn't give a fuck.
He's a beast.
Yushin Okami doesn't give a fuck. He was fighting at PFL and Deep and all those. Like he was in Japan for a while, and then he was fighting for the World Series in PFL. And this guy was on a fucking win streak, brother. So he's doing very good at 170. 170 pounds, he's doing very good. That one fight, we'll put it as the outlier in the
Yeah.
pack. The 205-pound fight at light heavyweight against Owen St. Preux. We'll put that one as an outlier because especially the fact that he got Von Prud.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, this is a guy who's like this is a tough fight to bet because both these guys have such suspect chins. Like Diego Lima gets knocked out every other fucking fight.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at and if he's not getting knocked out, he's getting choked out by my man Jesse Taylor, who I can't wait to come back. JT Money, let's get it.
Hell, Tim Boach and Okami, remember that?
Yeah.
And Tim Boach is on this card too.
Li Jun Liang versus Diego Lima. Eddie Gordon versus Diego Lima. You know, like fucking, he's been knocked out. His chin's questionable. And then, like, remember Jacare versus Yushin Okami?
Well, Jacare is another beast, man. That's a hard fight.
Yeah, but fuck.
That's a difficult fight.
So yeah, that one. And then what else did we get knocked out? Whoa, I'm trying to go back in time here. He had an alright run in the Well, he didn't have a run in the UFC, I think. Did he? Dean Lister. Rich Frank. Like when he was at the top of his game when he was fighting Anderson Silva.
He lost to David Branch in WSOF.
Yeah, that was a tough one. David Branch sent him down a couple fucking weight classes.
Sent him packing, yeah.
Yeah. Hard fight to choose. I'm gonna go with Diego Lima.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Diego Lima. How about you?
You know what? I think Thunder Okami, definitely a familiar face in the UFC. I think we've already talked about his ups and downs. A very fortunate fight or unfortunate fight was Tim Boach, because if you go watch that, he is actually kicking the shit out of Tim Boach the entire for a lot of the fight. It's kind of back and forth, but Tim Boach is getting pieced up, and Okami gets mount, starts throwing punches, and Okami, as he gets tired, starts throwing. Well, I think everybody does this. They just throw lighter and lighter punches, and it was to the point where these ground and pound punches were very like touch. Like you would, like you would touch just kind of to play. Not really punch someone hard, just to touch their head. And he just completely gassed himself, and Tim Boach just threw him back over and got a big win after that. That was a big win for him. But obviously, Okami has been really through that ringer, and I can see why his chin is a little bit. We don't know. It's a big dice roll every fight. Either he gets tapped on the button and he drops, or he's okay and he's ready to take a few more. He has that southpaw stance. He can be very accurate with his jab and uppercut. He works on the inside. His ferocity can be very overwhelming to opponents, but he also uses up a lot of energy, like I said. Mixing in the light and heavy punches. And I think with Diego Lima, because he throws lots of He throws lots of singles. I think that's a big that's a big weakness towards the southpaw guys, like double right hands or double anything. Diego Lima throws a lot of that stuff, and he's a berserker too. This guy swings everything into his punches and kicks. Really gets his hit behind everything. I'm a big fan of his single kicks or knees. This guy will get tired and he still does jumping knees. I don't know where he gets the energy, but this is somebody who, he's like a train. He's always chugging down the track, and his gas tank can get questionable at times, but he does tire his opponents out as well. And it's not an easy fight, even if his opponents get the win. It's because Diego Lima is always in front of them at all times, and he just had his hands down, bang, gets cracked. It's that, if Diego Lima was a little bit more careful, a little bit more calculated, it'd be a different fights. I think Diego Lima might have this one because Okami is shown to be a bit more droppy at times, but it's again, it's still a close one, and these guys are both gonna throw bombs at each other, and I think someone's gonna finish somebody. This isn't going to a decision.
Yeah, I believe so too. You just actually gave me a little bet here that I might
I hope
have to
so.
make. Let's see. Oh shit! Fuck off. That's a nice bet. Plus 200. Under 2.5 rounds. Yushin Okami, Diego Lima.
Ooh, yeah, take it. Why not?
That's a nice bet.
Because they're going to be throwing.
I think somebody does get finished in this fight.
100, somebody's going to rattle off a little too much, and then.
Wow, that's a very interesting line. Huh. I'm surprised it's at that something that high. I'm thinking, what the fuck's the problem? I'd have to run the tape on that for it to be a serious bet.
To be sure, eh?
Yeah, for it to be a serious bet, I'd have to run some tape on it, but I wouldn't mind. Oh my goodness, Gilbert Burns is a huge favorite.
How do you like that fight, seeing as it's Dan's first?
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that one in a second. Next up we got Shana Dobson versus Lauren Muller, though.
I thought that one was next.
We'll get this one over quick.
Yeah.
I pretty much think Lauren Muller's gonna outstrike her. Like she did that girl Kelly Velasco or whatever her name is on the Contender Series. It was hard to find tape on Muller. Fuck, she looked good in the Contender Series fight, and Shana Dobson, she looked alright against Ariel Beck, but I just think Lauren Muller is a more complete striker, and I think she has what it takes to do what it is over 3 rounds, man. Get the job done. I think she came out on short notice last time, and she got the win. So let's see her, like how she is right this time, against someone with this 3-1. She's 4-0, around the same record, like same experience. Like, let's do this. And I got Lauren Muller in that fight.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I got Muller as well. I think Muller's a pretty busy fighter from her debut. She looked very calm and good calm pace towards Velasco, right? Velasco, she fought.
Yeah, I think so.
She mixed in quite a few body shots against the fence. Again, a little difficult to find tape on, but I felt that fight that got her into the UFC was real good because of how much action she pressed. She was super, super tired at the end of that, but only because her opponent took so many shots. The girl put a spinning back fist on display. constant knees, a really good pace that I think Dobson is going to have a very tough time to adjust to. Dobson's pretty explosive, as we've seen. She took out Ariel Beck really well with those the body shots. Dobson's really good against tall people, but I think her and Muller are somewhat on the same side. I think Lauren might be a little bit taller than her because Shanna's on this.
Shanna's actually a little bit taller.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Normally Shanna's on the smaller side.
She's an inch taller.
Yeah, so I think Lauren Muller, the speed will be about the same, and I think Lauren Muller's kicks will be able to keep Shanna out. She tends to be able to get in on a lot of the tall people who get lazy with their jab, but Laura doesn't really have a lazy jab, especially with the kicks that she puts behind it. Again, Dobson could be a lot of trouble for some fighters, but I think she has a few visible problems on Tough when she fought Matafari. She was doing really well in the stand-up, but once it got to the ground, there were huge visible problems.
Yeah.
And because that happened very, very early on, it's a big, big skill gap that even if you've been building on it since that loss, it's still gonna kind of be there. You know what I mean? Like you fixed it, but it's still kind of a bit of a problem. We'll see what happens. I mean, Dobson does come with a lot of destructive power, and I really like her, the way she works to the body. So if she can keep those body shots up and keep the accuracy on that, then she can probably take out Lauren in the later rounds. But I think Lauren keeps her away for the entire fight and hits the decision without getting hit too much, but maybe gets hit with a few overhand rights.
Yeah, I can see that as well, man. Hopefully, not hopefully, I don't have a bet on her, so it doesn't really matter, but it'd be nice to see her get a win, Lauren. That's a good fight though. This like I said, this is a stacked card. Even for a girl fight, that's a good fight.
Yeah.
Next up we got Gilbert Burns taking on Dan Murray or Murat, however say his last name. I couldn't do much tape on this fight. I didn't find it. Like I guarantee you, there's stuff out there on Murat. I just didn't bother looking.
He has a few things, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's a little iffy. I had to listen to an interview that he had.
I just think if this guy isn't anything special, like with like takedown wise or anything, or he's nothing special, I think Gilbert's gonna do enough in the first round to get the job done. Simple as that. I think Gilbert's kind of like a punching bag. He gets hit a lot. But I think he does what he has to here to get the job done.
Yeah.
I will be picking Dan Murray though and Tout Master though for the points.
Okay.
Yeah, but I got Gilbert Burns here to get the job done over the newcomer.
Yeah. It's Dan's first time in there on a 7-fight vet. Gilbert Burns is really, really amazing. I checked out some of his gi and no gi jiu-jitsu matches. Crazy. The dynamics really good. I'm pretty sure you've seen the Alex Oliveira armbar. Gets that on him late in the third round off of a fight where Alex Oliveira was doing really well. Alex Oliveira is actually on the card fighting Carlos Condit, so that'll be a good fight. He's got a lot of good composure on the fence, good hand standing up, great guard. When I was watching all this tape, he has his hands up. He feints, sticks, and moves. He can get slow at times. He tends to stay in one kind of pace throughout the whole fight, no matter how much the fight kicks up. But when he does choose to get to go fast, it's always for the W's or for big shots or some sort of submission. Obviously, a very good submission game and grappling and takedown defense. But Dan has also been putting on a bit of a submission clinic clinic of his own, getting most of his fights by submission. He's got a few decisions, but only one KO, which doesn't exactly make me, very very happy about his chances. But I think that he's going in there with the right attitude. He knows that he's the underdog in this fight, and he actually wants to take it right to Gilbert, and he wants to tap him out, which is, I think, a real big accomplishment if he does get it. I think getting any sort of submission on someone who's this seasoned in the UFC is big. And in all respects to Gil, he knows this is what it takes to get himself out there, and he's very confident in his jiu-jitsu. And he feels that all the pressure is on Gilbert because he's the one taking on the new guy, and I kind of like that attitude. Locks up pretty good triangles. I think he got two. He got two of the last two fights before coming to the UFC. So, he's on a nice little win streak. He's got a few blemishes on his record. Again, I don't think he wins this fight. I think he might impress some people, and then hopefully go into his next few UFC fight and can start finishing him and put on that submission display, right? Or hey, maybe he pulls out the big victory and takes him out. But I got Gilbert Burns on this fight. I think that his jiu-jitsu is well high enough to defend what Dan's got, as well as having striking to fend off some of the top guys in the game.
Yeah. Well, it depends, man. Because Gilbert doesn't like to use that jiu-jitsu as much as he should. I think he should be able to use it a little bit more, but he's not using it as much as I'd like. I wouldn't be, now that I'm looking more into it. I'm just looking at gonna be doing some research on Dan Moret. I should have done beforehand, but pretty much he has a chance here, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I know everybody's got chances, but if he gets past the first round with Gilbert Burns and starts putting a clinic on him, who knows?
I think it's very even.
Yeah. So that's a possible underdog play, guys. If you guys want to check that one out. But yeah. Next up, we move on to the prelims. We got Krzysztof Jotko taking on Brad Tavares, and Tavares is coming off that win of Talis Lates. He beat Talis Lates, didn't he? And he beat Elias. He's on a 2-fight win.
Yeah, by decision.
Is he on a 2 or 3 fight winning streak? I think he's on a 2 fight.
Let me see. 3. Robert Whitaker was his loss, and then he got a split though. So
he beat Magalas, eh? All right, whatever. But coming off those wins, he's looked solid. Especially in his recent run as of late. The guy is always attacking with pressure. He's got great kickboxing. He can be a wild man. He's always moving with pressure. He's dangerous, man, and he's got the Hawaiian warrior spirit in him. That he's a monster training with Ray Sefo every day at Extreme Couture. I don't know. I like Brad a lot in this fight. I didn't have the balls to bet him though. I thought there's better stuff on this card to bet, but I do like him as a potential play on this card if I wanted to play something else. Krzysztof Jotko got his life changed. Who knows by Uriah Hall,
Yeah.
And then David Branch beat him, so he's on a 2-fight losing streak. usually he's with that like point fighter style. And he'll be able to get you out of there and stuff. He comes from that ATT background. Um, I heard he got into some shit with Kobe Covington and they were boys or something too. But I think he got into some shit with him.
No way.
Yeah, that's
Jotko?
funny. Yeah, I heard or some shit like that.
I think
Um,
everybody wants to fight Kobe Covington.
but the way I see it is, the more aggressive striker is going to win the rounds in this fight. And I think the more aggressive striker is Brad Tavares. I think he gets the job done here. And he moves on with another win here. He wins four in a row. And that's what he's number 15 middleweight division. He'll be looking at a top 10 opponent next. So look out for Brad Tavares, man.
I think Jotko is a southpaw. I think he's got some very fast punches. His recent loss to Uriah Hall showed me that he has plans to get on the inside, and they do work for the most part. He was able to land some big
in the first round.
Yeah, he was able to land some big uppercuts on a very seasoned Uriah Hall, and I think Uriah Hall does tend to dance himself into some danger because he takes a lot of quick steps, but he'll take like 3 or 4. But on that 4th step, if the guy chased him still and he's too close, he ends up getting jammed up and he can't even do one of his big kicks to keep him on the outside. So Jotko got in on that and bang, just cracked him. The problem was that Jotko went for a submission, and he isn't exactly the greatest, submission fighter. So he wrapped up a nice body lock and tried to start implementing a choke. And he was chasing a rear naked for a while, and actually gave Uriah Hall a bit of a scare. But he gave him time to get recovered, rally back, and then once they were right back up to standing, Uriah was able to find a pace that he can use, and he was able to dissect him from there. I thought it was real big props to Uriah Hall for showing that composure and coming back after a fight like that, because it very easily could have went the other way. Brad Tavares, however, is very, very durable. Be prepared to get things made difficult for you all fight long. I like how this guy fights. I remember watching him against Lorenz Larkin a long time ago. Brad stays dangerously close to people and has a really good awareness and great activity. Fighters who don't push pace early will find themselves in a phone booth for 3 rounds, and that's not good. He's good at getting decision wins with the pace that I think more fighters should implement, similar to Jakar Close fights almost. He throws lots of good combinations, throws to the body to get you tired, throws combinations up and down, very good eyes, keeps back far enough, has some KO power, submission strengths, and he always makes it. He makes you work. And that's what I'm worried if Jotko gets clipped or isn't able to tough out these rounds, because Brad Tavares will eat you up if you're not ready. His lack of submissions, might come into play here. But Tavares has great wrestling and all kinds of stuff to trip people up and keep them off balance. So I think Brad Tavares wins this. But he's going to have to look out for the early rounds that Jotko can bring, because that early round Jotko might keep Brad off him. But if Brad finds a window and gets to implement his game plan more and more, it'll be a decision for Brad if he gets past the first round.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see a knockout for Brad. I can see a decision for Brad. I think Brad wins this, man. I just don't have the balls to put it on him yet. But I think he gets the job done.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Wilson Reyes versus John Moraga. And Moraga's looked good as of late, man. He's looked like fucking solid. He'll be in my parlays this weekend for sure.
Knocked out Magomed.
Yeah, knocked out Magomed. The dangerous hook. and then put a beat down on Oscar Mokhtarian. Um, he's going against Wilson Reyes, where I think he'll have the stand up battle one at least, and like
for sure.
it'll be hard to take him down. He comes from I think Arizona wrestling or something like that. So it'll be hard to take him down as well. I think Wilson's gonna have some problems with him on the stand up exchanges we saw against Henry Cejudo. He got lit up and fucking John Rogers no joke, man. You saw what he did against Malcolmed. So, same thing could happen here. But I got John Moraga here all day. I should have actually bet him. I'm gonna put him in a parlay, like a little, just like a beer money parlay. But other than that, fucking yeah, man. I got John Moraga. How about you?
Well, I liked Wilson Reyes when he first came in. I thought he put on a pretty good fight against Dustin Ortiz, able to really able to really control him. Not something that fighters get easy. He got two more wins, Hector Sandoval and Yuta before his Demetrius Johnson fight. Um, he's been fighting some top prospects as of recently with back to back against Henry Cejudo and Demetrius. I think Henry Cejudo is top, and if that's any sort of implication of what John Moraga can do, because Henry Cejudo is a great wrestler as well, then Wilson Reyes might have a bit of a hole in his game plan against these wrestlers, against guys who can snap the takedown. He's very talented off his back, and he's a great submission guy. But he also gets decisions if he can't get the exact positions that he wants. I don't see many big punches from him. He generally tries to win those decisions. But I think John Moraga, like you said, is looking great as of now, and he's on a 2 fight. All he needs is one more, and then his name's going to start getting a little more plastered over, and he can start kind of calling shots and maybe look for a quick 2 fights to get himself in the boardroom, right? John Moraga's got quite a bit of speed to him as well. I'm not sure how he never got the Joseph Benavidez fight. He did lose unanimously, but I thought he was going to win that, but like before the fight even happened. He went on a 3-fight losing streak, but he's been doing really good as of late. So I think he's going to try to keep that going. Wilson Reyes, again, great submission, but I'm just not sure if he has that stand up to keep John from doing what he wants. And this guy can crack, and he knows how to do submissions as well. So in terms of submissions, he'll probably be able to get away from a lot of what Wilson brings to the table, even if he shoots early. And Wilson's going to have to be on the lookout for lots of strikes. I think John Moraga wins this. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know what the result might be though. It could be anything.
Straight up, it could.
I could see John out striking him, but maybe not exactly knocking him out, since Wilson Reyes is no stranger to decisions, and he's a tough dude.
Yeah, man, I can see that. Hold up. Yeah, I can see that as well, man. He is a tough dude, but he did get finished by Henry Cejudo. Nevertheless, he got finished by Henry Cejudo. So, yeah, I think we both got Moraga there. Next fight, the King of Kung Fu, Muslim Sakalov, take on Ricky Rainey. I'll let you take this one, Gib.
So this Muslim Sakalov guy, I never knew, but he is a 5-time wushu champion.
Yep.
These fights are crazy, man. I watched a few of them and I really liked them. I think he's had about 100 and something, right?
Yeah.
He's had more than that. Something knockouts. What a beast. I
It's
like
all
that.
about like spinning shit. Like they just do
Yeah,
spinning shit.
they got a little bit of grappling in there as well.
Yeah, they do. And
Uh,
they
what do you
do.
think about the style difference though? Like, what do you think about him standing with a lot of
I like
guys who are a
Lucius
little
Sanda,
more?
guys.
Do you think that it has a weakness when guys are a little more grounded and a little more flat-footed?
It depends.
People seem to be able to block and catch a lot of that crazy shit if they think if it's coming at the right angle, or they'll just sit there while
This
it
guy just throws it out of
flies over
nowhere,
their head.
though.
That's
He
true.
throws
Yeah,
it
he
out
does a
of
lot of
nowhere.
surprise ones, and he walks you into some big ones.
Yeah.
Again, he won this thing 5 times, so his combos and kicks are going to be coming at all from all angles, really. Ran into a huge problem with Alex Garcia, but I mean, it's Alex Garcia. That's
But
no.
Ricky Rainey's not gonna
No, I don't
fucking.
think he's gonna bring a lot of what Alex Garcia brought either.
He's not gonna bring the takedown.
No, or the armbar.
So
you
Ricky
know.
Rainey here is gonna
Um,
he's gonna be going against Muslim Sakalov in a stand-up battle. That's hard, man.
yeah, yeah,
So I
and
like Sakalov all day here.
I mean, he's won 4 of his last 5 after Michael Venom Page beat him, and Michael Venom Page is quite the interesting, kicker. He's got the Swiss Army knife of kicks as well.
He's kind of
So,
the best matchup if you want to do tape study on
but
this.
but Michael Venom Page is not, Muslim Salikov. So I think Ricky Rainey has got his hands full. He's a little rough. He picks his shots standing right in front of his opponent at a bit of a critical area. He likes to stand right in front of his opponent. It's not that. It's just a style that he's kind of taken on. He's a big gambler. He likes to he likes to really see what you can handle and see what he can handle and try to present you with lots of clinches, knees. Sometimes he throws spinning knees, or sorry, spinning elbows when he was in the clinch in the Bellator fight off the fence against Chidi Nzukuni. He's actually doing pretty good in Bellator, so I kind of like that fight, and he did win it, so I kind of gave him props for that one. But as of now, his current like just the way he looks, I don't see him beating Muslim just based off of technique, defense, and his speed. I think his speed is really weird because at times it almost looks like he's galloping, but it never goes past that. It's never much of a sprint. I mean, he definitely has a good grit, and he definitely goes for stamina and tries to outlast you. But it's nothing like he doesn't have that Usain Bolt speed or anything like that. So I got Muslim Salikov. I think he outkicks him really dynamically, or he ends it early in in the first or second round with some crazy kicker combo.
Yeah. I could see that happening as well. I know I'm saying I could see that happening as well for all of them, but I can literally see them all happening. That's why.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, do not do that to yourself, Justin. 3 units of bulge.
You got Muslim for this one, eh?
Yeah, I'm just looking at like all the boys' bets right now.
Oh, yeah.
Twitter. I'm fucking. I'm a little disappointed in some of my boys.
Why?
No, I can't be disappointed beforehand before the fights start. But yeah, they just. Oh man, who's Anderson? Megan Anderson? Is that who they're talking about? Wow, that'd be a good fight. Who do you have? I gotta break that down real quick. I'm sorry, guys, but breaking news. Look at this card right now. Yoel versus Whitaker, RDA versus Colby, Blades versus Overeem.
What was that? Lee and Barboza, right?
No, this is fucking.
What are you talking? Which
UFC
one?
225.
Oh,
This is Mike Jackson versus CM Punk.
oh shit. Oh yeah. They're making that. I don't know about
This
that
is
one, man.
Benavidez versus Pettis, Esparza versus Gaethje, Tuivasa, who
Why don't they just run back?
we're
Why don't they
interviewing
just run
Ty
back Chiesa?
Tuivasa.
They don't want
Yeah.
to give Chiesa that fight.
I
He
guess
had
they'll
it
run that back
originally.
soon. They'll run that back soon. That'll be a good fight. Oh, yeah, fuck. I got me juice right there. All right, but next up we got Tim Boach taking on Antonio Carlos Jr. And I see fucking shout out to my boy Justin at Brofix. I see him with a pick on Tim Boach. But sorry, bro. This fucking Antonio Carlos Jr. down, brother. He's gonna do to Tim Boach fucking Antonio Carlos Jr. did to, or he's gonna do to Tim Boach what Jacques did to Tim Boach. This guy is no joke. He's literally Antonio Carlos Jr. is one of the best grapplers at 185 pounds. He's grappled at heavyweight before. He's a fucking monster.
Yeah, he came on the
He's
season
fought
of
at
Tough at heavyweight, and he got out of that
yeah, he
with a
fought
lot
at
of heavy.
heavyweight. He fought at heavyweight, and
Give him props for that one.
grappled at super heavyweight. He won like an ADC or Abu Dhabi with in super heavyweight black belt. That's fucking ridiculous. That's like 265 pounds plus.
Oh, you're fighting big boys.
300-pound guys at least. That's fucked. And he's able to control them on the ground. So watch what he can do to Tim Boach. I think Tim Boach is going to be able to get some standing exchanges off, but not much. I think Antonio Carlos Jr. does the better of the standing exchanges. And like I got Antonio Carlos here all day. Like Tim Boach he's good, but like his last fight was who? Johnny Hendricks? Was that his last fight?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he beat up a rundown Johnny Hendricks, and before that he beat up. Oh, I thought we froze. Did he knock out?
He beat up Rafael Natal and Josh Salmon.
Yeah, he knocked them out, right?
Oh, he knocks everybody out. That's all he goes for.
Who, Tim Boach?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. he that's what he does. That's his thing.
Yeah.
He gets knockouts, yeah. But you and man, in this one I'm just like he's not going to be able to pull that shit off against Antonio Carlos Jr. I don't think he's the better striker, and I think Antonio Carlos Jr. stops him in his tracks and is able to take him down with like ease, man.
Mm-hmm.
And once he's there, I think he's able to win a decision, if not submit him. So I got 5 units on Antonio Carlos Jr. minus 242 to win 2.07 units. How about you, Gib?
Antonio is crazy. His submission game is ridiculous. He won his last 2 fights by submission. So this guy clearly is is one of those clinic guys. He doesn't really get the knockouts. He has a really good jab though. He has a great reach jab. Likes to go for leg kicks until he's ready to go for his takedowns. He's a very durable fighter. Can give guys a lot of trouble on the fence. He's a big person. He's jiu-jitsu, so he knows where to put his weight. He comes from such a high weight class, so once he cuts down, I mean, he's super deadly once he has his size with him. I do see a bit of stamina trouble, but I mean, it doesn't really come into effect because he uses his stamina very well on the ground and gets his submissions and goes about his day. But you won't like this, but I actually do have Tim the Barbarian Boach on this one, man. I'm a big fan of him. I remember I watched his Okami fight and talked about it
His
earlier.
Okami fight.
Again, that was years ago. I get it, absolutely years ago. But that was an awesome fucking fight. That was fucking crazy. And he was able to come back, rally a huge ground and pound back. He stalks guys down. He throws big punches. Doesn't care. He lives by the sword or dies by the sword. He really is a barbarian. He berserks people to death. He's constantly in front of them. He has big punches, big power, and I think that's why he beats Antonio, because Antonio has no knockouts, man, zero.
Yes,
and yeah, fine, doesn't go for him, but I think that might that might get him into to getting hit by Tim Boach. And I think if he takes this fight too lightly, Tim Boach will walk right through you like he did Johnny Hendricks, Rafael Natal, and any sort of guy who thinks that he can mess with him, because he brings quite a different heavy punch to people that they don't think that he can make it. A lot of guys say, oh yeah, if you're too big, you're too heavy, you're too slow, but he brings that nuke to you and drops it, whether it's to the body or whatever. And he does lose by way of submission quite a bit, actually. He lost to Luke Rockhold by a really good inverted triangle Kimura. So obviously the submission is there whenever Antonio kind of wants it. But if he slips up, I think Tim Boach can catch him and show him why they call him the Barbarian. So you know who I got, man. I got the Barbarian.
Fuck that.
The Barbarian. The Barbarian.
Oh, that's an embarrassing one.
Oh, you're gonna fucking crack him over the top with a big right hand. Trust me.
I'm just trying to take that into consideration right now.
He stopped his nails.
Like, he's never been knocked out. He's never been knocked out. Do you know that?
Until we got knocked out by Dan Kelly, didn't he?
Fuck, he did get knocked out by Dan Kelly.
I mean, that's a tough fight. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Dan Kelly gives a lot of fighters tough fights.
I don't remember. It was a knockout or a TKO, though. I remember that.
TKO. Punches. You got him in the third round.
He's on a 4-fight win streak, man.
Yeah.
Fuck Tim Boach.
You're a hater.
And Tim Boach is training out of his gym, his garage. Did you know that?
Hey, you got to train somewhere.
Got to train in your garage? Go to a fucking camp.
He's a savage.
Go to a camp. Go to a fucking camp.
He's a savage. He doesn't need a camp.
Yeah, don't worry about it, because we got my boy Antonio Carlos.
He's gonna hit the bag hanging. He's gonna hit the bag hanging.
Top team. Let's go. He's gonna take him down. He's gonna strangle him. He's gonna fucking work him. Because when you know what? As soon as Antonio Carlos Jr. sees that shit's not going right for him on the stand-up, he's taking Boach to the ground and submitting him.
Antonio's
submitting him.
Antonio's coming in at 185. He's gonna look like Skeletor, and he's gonna crumble because of the stamina.
No, he's never.
And Boach is gonna
once.
And Boach is gonna hit him right in the fucking jaw.
He doesn't crumble because of the stamina. He's a monster. He knows what he's doing here. Antonio Carlos Jr. all day, 5 units, 242. Minus 242.
Barbarian.
No, not the Barbarian. Fuck that shit. That guy's getting dropped. I literally think he's gonna get submitted here.
We'll see.
If it's not a submission, it's a decision. And do you think Tim Boach has what it takes to win a decision?
I say the garage games do it for him.
But do you think he can win a decision against Antonio Carlos Jr.? He has to get the knockout.
Decision would be a lot harder. You're right. He does have to get the knockout, but I've seen a guy such as like Dan Kelly, who obviously has a few years on him, find a way to beat him. So I think Tim can probably do the same. But Dan Kelly has better judo and better grappling, so obviously that's allowed him to stay away from a lot of his stuff. So Tim Boach definitely has a huge chance of getting submitted. And I already admitted that, 100%. I can see that happening. But if he underestimates him and thinks that he's going to walk in and get what he wants, he could get cracked.
He could, but I don't think he does. I think he chokes him out here.
All right.
Just like he does everybody else.
We'll see.
I never knew he came into the UFC when he was just 3-0. Wow. And Vitor Miranda, and he was a huge favorite. He weighed in at 212 pounds only. When he fought heavyweight, he weighed in at 212. How could that? That's jokes. And then, you know what? I think he has what it takes to win here. I think he gets the job done. And I'm very confident in him to get the job done. So, 5 units.
All right.
5 units to get the job done. Okay. Next up, we have...
Hitting the main, bud. No?
Yeah, we're in the main card.
We're on the main. Yeah, last 4.
Versus Courtney Casey. I'll let you take this one, because I know you're going to go for fucking Michelle Waterson.
Whoa. No spoilers. Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm going for the karate hottie. She's looking to bounce back after that last fight with Tisha Torres. Waterson has some great single strikes. As a black belt, uses their movement really well, kites her opponents in, likes to hit that step kick, a lot of spins. She's pretty good off the scramble. For submissions, a really nice armbar on Jessica Penne when she only had a single loss. Speaking of arm bars, cast iron Casey, again, she does them too. I think she's quite a good grappler as well, possibly even better than Michelle. I just don't think that the stand-up is going to be a little difficult for her. She had a bit of a tough time against Felice Herring, I think. Obviously, I think she wants to run that one back, and a win here might actually allow her to get possibly past Felice Herring, and maybe even a rematch for her, or just pass her in the rankings and keep on your way. Obviously, I think Courtney Casey has quite a good takedown defense game if Michelle wants to take it that route, but I just don't see her dealing with a lot of the strikes that Michelle can come out with, because she tends to be one of those 0 to 60s. She'll hit you when you kind of least expect it, and if you're kind of sitting there for too long in one place, she can really track people down. Courtney's been up against Tisha Torres as well, and Rose Namajunas, and they both beat Paige Van Zandt. So I think they're pretty. They've all fought real tough names. I think Michelle Waterson wins just because of the striking, but you definitely don't want to count Courtney Casey out. She's got knockouts, same amount as Michelle Waterson, actually. So hey, never know. But I got Michelle on this one.
I got Courtney on this one. Cast iron Casey. I think she gets the job done with pure grit and determination and forward pressure. I think she works Michelle Watterson into the clinch against the cage. And I think she does work there, and I think she's gonna do work standing up in the exchanges between the two of them. I think inside the pocket, she's the more comfortable one, and also I'm gonna have to go with the grappling edge on Courtney Casey. How could you not? Seems to be one of Michelle Watterson's kryptonites, and oh, that got super loud. But seems to be like Michelle Watterson's kryptonite, being a good grappler. And if you can out grapple Michelle Watterson, then she seems like she's having a long night ahead of her. So I got Courtney Casey in this one. I think she gets the job done. No bet though.
Okay.
Yeah. Next up, we got Israel Adesanya taking on Marvin Vettori. The last style bender versus the Italian Dream.
He's even bald like the Avatar. Like, come on. This is fucking badass.
I love when he does the fucking. I love when he does that. That's fucking sick. He's pure Avatar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's fucking ridiculous to watch. He throws seamless combinations, flowing with leg kicks to body kicks to elbows to. He reminds you of a John Jones kind of when he strikes, but like maybe not as. He's kind of green still, so he's not there yet. But man, is he like fucking. He knows what he's doing. You can see the kid's legit. He put a beat down on Rob Wilkinson, and when Rob Wilkinson spit blood on him, he fucking finished Rob Wilkinson. Man, that was deadly. He's like, "What? You spit blood on me?" And he was throwing these dangerous elbows, just like downward elbows to his rib cage and just hurting him. If you watch his fight against Melvin Gillard, man, he stands up at one point and gives Melvin Gillard such a hard fucking soccer kick to the stomach or to the rib cage. Oh my goodness.
That was the first fight where I actually saw him in any sort of submission trouble.
Oh yeah, when he had his back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got out of it.
He did.
So the kid's a blue belt under Andrei Scaval. So he's legit blue belt. So we know that at least, he's legit blue belt. He's a blue belt, but he's a legit fucking blue belt. He's taking on Marvin Vettori here, who's got good striking and everything. It brings the total package to the game, but to me, he gasses a little bit, as you can see. His gas tank's not all the way there, and he's good at Muay Thai too. I just wouldn't say he's as good as accomplished kickboxer as Joel Adesanya. I think Adesanya is gonna run away with the strikes here. I think he has what it takes to, if not finish him, at least win a decision here. So I got my boy Stylebender all day, and I got oh, now I have to go check. I got 3 units on him. I want to see at what price. Minus 223 to win 1.34 units. So 3 units at minus 223 to win 1.34 units. 1.34 units. That's not bad. So far on the card. Okay. And yeah. How about you get? What do you think of this?
Oh, I think people are going to have to get ready for his show because that's what type of fight style Stylebender puts on. I mean, his striking is almost unmatched at this point. You don't really see very many people who can hang with him. Very educated, along with his speed and technique that just increase it even more. As a stand-up fighter, spinning kicks are a lot to handle for some opponents. He can walk fighters into kicks. He can walk forward into and land stuff. He can spin, ending most of every single fight by KO and completely overwhelms people with single strikes. No submissions yet. Obviously had that bit of submission trouble with Melvin Gillard. I think a seasoned veteran who could probably get the guillotine if it was there. And obviously, he was able to fend him off with just a blue belt, and I think that's pretty high level, especially if you're taking on a veteran like that. Vettori has a southpaw stance with some good power, but even better grappling. Good takedown defense. He's got good boxing, and he's got a good pace as he walks forward. Likes to blast kicks both to the body. Fought Carlos Jr., no stranger to the jumping knee, which I really could really work against. Really work against him.
No, not.
I could. I mean,
him. Yeah, I thought you said it works against Stylebender.
It could. I mean, like that's the only weapon I can see, doing something because it's one high risk move he does, but it's nothing like it's nothing to the caliber of like what Stylebender can do with the amount of stuff he does. But he does come in with lots of good ground and pound and sub. He always goes for sub attempts and tries to go for that big Superman punch as well. He likes to try to land that. He has KO power actually, and he's able to get quite a few decision wins by keeping guys kind of away from him, and he can use his reach as well. But Stylebender is actually taller than Vettori in this fight, so it's going to be interesting to see how Vettori implements his grappling that way. I'm wondering if he can maybe grab a leg or maybe go for takedowns. You haven't really seen this guy in much of takedown trouble, so maybe this could be Vettori's chance to maybe show some holes.
I think Poirier would get so tired doing that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be close, but I'm actually leaning a little more towards Marvin Vettori on this. I think Stylebender is super talented, but I got to see him get through this fight to really prove he can get past a submission guy, because Marvin Vettori has a few losses on his belt in the UFC, and I feel that makes you grow more. And he even got a loss against Antonio Carlos Jr., who's a super good submission guy, and he was able to kind of weather the storm a bit and not get submitted. He did lose the fight by decision, but he's a pretty smart guy. Draw against Omari, so obviously he hasn't been doing very well. But he has 4 UFC fights on Israel, and Israel only has 1. So this is going to be a bit of a proving ground fight after Robert Wilkinson. So I think I'm pretty. I just want to see him in this one more and take on Marvin Vettori before I start going for him all the way at all times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you, but I think this is the fight where he shines. I think he's the better striker overall, and I think this stays standing. Yeah.
In a perfect world, my friend.
Well, it's going to stay standing. Marvin Vettori is not that much of a... we can see him with a grapple-heavy approach, but when have you seen him with a grapple-heavy approach?
I think it's going to be difficult for him to catch him. I agree with you there. Especially without getting hit.
Just in exchanges, you're going against the world class kickboxer.
Yeah.
Stylebender's a world class kickboxer. There's no doubt about it. So going against that, and you're Marvin Vettori, good luck, man.
He's got 50 kickboxing fights or something? Muay Thai?
He's who? Stylebender? Yeah. He's like 75.
75. Yeah.
He's got 75 wins or some shit. Yeah.
Like I said, I really just want to see him against a big submission threat. So obviously, I think Vettori is going to be going for that. So I think it's going to be an interesting one to watch for that.
Yeah, I got Stylebender all day, though. Let's go. Stylebender. Next fight is the Natural Born Killer taking on Alex Cowboy Oliveira. This is a good fight, man. It was a more of a violent fight when it was Carlos Condit versus Matt Brown. Then Matt Brown tore his ACL. Now we have Alex Oliveira in. Um, what can I say, man? Uh, I think Oliveira is going to be able to capitalize on some things, but I think he might even be coming back a little too soon. I think he should have took a little bit more time off. I know it was just December or whatever, but sometimes you see guys from a brutal knockout come back even within 6 months, and it's just like they're still like very fragile. Going against a guy like Carlos Condit, who we know can turn it up. I think Neil Magny was just a bad matchup for him,
Yeah.
and and I got Carlos Condit here, man. To be honest, I got Carlos Condit here. I think he gets the job done with his elbows and his striking, his range striking and his kicks. And I think he's not going to play in the pocket with Alex Oliveira to get in trouble and get knocked out. He knows what to do and how to move around and stuff. And I think Carlos Condit brings a challenge to Cowboy Oliveira. Cowboy is really strong inside the clinch, and he's got some power in his hands. We all know that. But this is a tough one, and I think Carlos takes it though. Gib.
Uh, yeah, I agree. I think Carlos takes it as well. You can't even throw out the fact that this guy, if you look at his past few fights, Nick Diaz, George St. Pierre, Johnny Hendricks, Tyron Woodley, Robbie Lawler, Damian Maya, Neil Magny, he's losing against high level opponents. And he's even stopping guys like Thiago Alves and and Martin Kamen like dead. Um, obviously, obviously Alex Oliveira is doing better as of recently. He lost to Yancy Medeiros, which I can understand. You know, maybe waiting a little bit longer to go in there, but I think he wants to try to go and start another win streak and maybe try to fight someone big soon. Carlos Condit really needs to prove himself because he's been on that bit of a losing streak. Damian Maya was a rough fight because of the submission and that body triangle that Damian Maya always goes for. Neil Magny was just on his game and super alert that night. I was actually very impressed by him because I thought Carlos was going to take that one too in that fight. Alex Oliveira, an amazing Muay Thai player, super good kickboxer. Likes to really light guys up with double kind of leg kicks. He even throws those leg kicks to the body, which I always like. Took out Will Brooks. Took out Tim Means. Took out Ryan LaFleur. Obviously, he does have some trouble against guys like Donald Cerrone. Gilbert Burns earlier on, but I think he makes some pretty good decisions. He's got good uppercuts on the inside when guys bring their heads down too much. He's good at wrestling people around as well as having that knockout ability always there. But Carlos Condit, he's that guy who's he's always ready for a fight, and he has just as much TNT in his fist as well. It's going to be a good war. Somebody's getting knocked out in this fight, I think. I don't see it going to decision. I'm not sure, but I'm going for Carlos Condit on this one. It's very iffy because Carlos Condit has been on a bit of a streak. Again, no lie, it's against high level opponents, but it's been a little rough as as a lot of people question his spirit in fighting as of now. But I think he's doing what he wants to do. Obviously, he's still fighting, and he wants this win. He wouldn't be in this if he didn't, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I like to think so. At least the natural born killer coming
For
back.
sure.
Okay, finally we move to our main event of the evening, guys. We got Dustin Poirier taking on Justin Gaethje in what is supposed to be one of the most violent fights of the year.
Oh yeah.
Potential fight of the year candidate already. Um, fucking. I don't know how to go about this fight, man. I think there's no other way to put it than this is going to be a war. But if we're
Yeah.
going to go ahead and break this down, let's break this down. Let's go. Okay. Striking battle, because everyone, let's nullify the fact that Poirier's not going to go for any grapples, and neither is Justin Gaethje. I just don't see it happening. I don't see Gaethje doesn't use his wrestling, his Division One wrestling, and he's hard to take down because he's a Division One All American.
Yeah, that's true. With leg kicks pretty much from the bell on.
Yeah. He's gonna be shooting with leg kicks right away. And Dustin doesn't check leg kicks. We all know Dustin has a problem checking leg kicks, as we saw in the Jim Miller fight and the Anthony Pettis fight early on. He has a problem checking leg kicks, and fucking, it's like he's too tough for his own good sometimes. But he's only 3 fights removed from the knockout with Michael Johnson. His chin is still considerably like rough. So Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje just got knocked out by fucking Eddie Alvarez. It was a matter of time till he got knocked out at some point. I just think the pressure will be too much for Dustin Poirier, and he'll crumble after the second round. I think Justin Gaethje will make him wither in pain with knees and body shots and
Pain.
wither in pain, man. He's just gonna be hurt from leg kicks and stuff. He's gonna get hurt from the leg kicks. Leg kicks are gonna be a big part of this fight. Just like I said, the leg kicks last week were gonna be a big part of the fight for Rose and Joanna, and they
Oh, they
were.
were. Yeah.
This is gonna be a big part of the fight. Leg kicks. So watch out for Justin Gaethje's leg kicks, guys. I think they're gonna play a big part. I got 2.5 units on Justin Gaethje at plus 118 to win 2.95 units.
I agree with you. I mean, those leg kicks are deadly, and they have to be addressed from the moment the fight starts, because that is Gaethje's go-to. And once those leg kicks start, the combos really start to rattle off, and he looks to get those punches in to raise his confidence and go for more and more and more. And it can be very overwhelming, very fast. He wins a lot of his fights just by going right through opponents. He's like a tornado. Good hands. They are up a lot of the time. Every now and then, he tends to throw some hooks that really have some good power to them. He throws the Sugar Ray Robinson hooks where he throws multiple left and right hooks to the head. I always like that. It doesn't happen very often. I think more people should bring that back. I think it's just a cool little combination to do. You can even do it to the body. He's got good. He does land those shots to the body as well. Rattled off a few of those against Eddie Alvarez and Michael Johnson, who again, we all argue that Michael Johnson absolutely ran past Dustin Poirier, and Gaethje took him out in a pretty good battle because he was able to weather the storm with him and continue to put him through.
Gaethje can take shots, bro.
What's that?
Gaethje can take shots.
Oh, absolutely. But so can Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier has went through quite a few ringers, and the Eddie Alvarez fight is a big proof. I know that fight ended on the knee, and I'm sure they both want to run that one back. And they might get to if Poirier wins this Gaethje fight, which I'm pretty sure he's aiming to do, or at least get like a title contention or chance or something. I agree that the grappling might not play much of a role, maybe in some of the scrambles and maybe when the fight gets to the fences. But I think Dustin Poirier actually has some pretty good grappling. It might not be super Olympic wrestling level, but he has been able to get out the submission from time to time, and he's fought quite a few big name opponents. I mean, no lie, Gaethje hasn't either. I mean, the guy fought Michael Johnson, Louis Fimmer, Brian Foster, ran it back with Louis Palomino twice. Beat Nick Newell as well. And Dustin Poirier has been in the UFC, and he's been up against the top opponents, guys like Conor McGregor, Cub Swanson, and getting wins against really tough fighters like Yancy Medeiros, and I think Yancy Medeiros is as tough, if not, at the level of a Justin Gaethje. And
No, he's
just
not. I love
uh,
Yankee.
I don't know, man.
Love
Dustin
Yankee.
Poirier can weather some really tough storms because he can
Not like Justin Gaethje, but
Bob, what a
Justin Gaethje is a zombie.
Bobby Green, Eddie Alvarez. I mean, yeah, Anthony Pettis was a bit of a gimme, and the Jim Miller fight, the leg kicks were kind of a bit for him. I agree, but able to take out Joseph Duffy, who I feel was doing very well at the time. And I think his boxing is very good. He gets to the side of people. He throws a lot crisper shots. I feel like his boxing is good, really good development. Um, he has a lot of variety in his boxing, whereas Justin Gaethje sticks to a lot of hooks and big kind of bombs. I feel like Dustin has a lot sharp punches. He uses a lot of good stuff on the fence. Gets to the side of guys, has that boxing kind of diagonal movement. He does throw the leg kicks if he can. He's going to have to battle Justin Gaethje with kicks. Again, it's not much of his forte. He's much of he's quite a boxer, but he does have that in and out movement, and he was able to counter Eddie Alvarez quite a few times during that fight. This is going to be a great fight, and I think someone's going to get ended. I'm picking Dustin Poirier. I really think he's going to take this one because he wants to run that Eddie Alvarez fight back, and I think he's going to be able to fight
Gaethje,
Justin Gaethje
man.
for it,
This
man. It's
Gaethje
going to be rough. It's going to be a rough fight.
this is Gaethje all day, guys.
It's close. It's going to be a rough fight, man. I got Dustin Poirier though.
It's gonna be a tough fight.
No decision here.
Yeah, no
I don't think this
decision.
is a decision. And I don't even think Justin Gaethje can get submitted, even if Dustin Poirier went for it. And I actually feel more confident in Dustin Poirier going for submissions in this fight. But I just don't think it would be wise because Justin can defend them really well, and you're going to be in a bad position to get hit by him. So it actually is the smartest to keep this fight standing. It is where Justin Gaethje is a lot better. Dustin Poirier is going to have to rely a lot on his countering, and he's going to have to bring that game plan in effect real quick and make sure that those leg kicks don't exceed too much on the inside and outside. Because if you let him tee off on you, man, you're going to be stuck in the mud, and it's going to be difficult for you to get around. Very similar to Eddie Alvarez.
Yes, sir. I think no though. I'm gonna go with say no.
All right.
Yeah, I think Gaethje has this, bro. I think the leg kicks are gonna play a big factor. He gets the job done. He's gonna break him down with the leg kicks, and in the first round already, he's gonna break him down with the leg kicks, and then his punches will be like nothing. His punches will be very slow, not powerful when he's
After
coming
leg
off.
kick, he won't be putting anything into it.
Who?
Dustin Poirier, you think like once he gets hit by a few leg kicks, it'll bring his game down. He won't be putting as much weight into shots.
Oh, he can.
Uh, he'll
Can.
be standing a lot more, not really moving around.
Yeah, he'll be flat-footed more. It's gonna neutralize him, man. I'm
You
telling you, it's gonna play a part. The leg kicks are gonna play a part.
Fighting Gaethje takes a lot of toughness because guys who get leg kicked are gonna end up having to kind of walk forward. But if guys can walk forward and keep bringing the fight to them, they tend to have a chance. I think that's how Eddie Alvarez was able to fight Justin because he was just able to constantly be in his face.
People don't walk Gaethje back. People don't walk Gaethje back. He doesn't take a step
No,
back.
no, but he's in his face at all times.
If you want to fight in his face, go ahead. But that's like
You have to have the toughness to do it.
the only
But
man
if
who's been able to do it so far is Eddie Alvarez.
yeah,
So I think my man Justin Gaethje gets the job done, and he shocks all the haters, man, because there's a lot of haters right now on Justin Gaethje. I'm tired today, guys. But thanks for tuning into the broadcast. It was great
It's been
breaking this
another
one
one.
down. Great UFC Glendale Poirier versus Gaethje bets breakdown and predictions. Hit the like button just below there. Come on, give it a like. And follow the set Dave_Gibbs. And
GI
yeah,
double
let's cash these
BZ.
bets. Yes, and let's cash these bets this weekend. Let's go again. So
Have a good one, guys.
let's hit it. Let's get it. Peace
Get
out.
it. Peace.